Hey there, Kael. So I'm just going to get stuck straight in on this one and move through both essays as quickly as possible. So the bar graph illustrates the number of new and used vehicle sales of the Home Valley Car Group in 2013 in 7 locations: Meltham, Slough, Holmfirth, Netherton, Netherthong, Upperthong and Longley Farm. Don't worry about these because I know that these are really, really small. This is not a big deal. Overall, it is clear that I wouldn't use these. Because we're referring generally to all of the cars, and even I can see where you're going with this. It just kind of makes sense, but in order for it to sound more natural, because if we're saying the second-hand cars, then we're talking about each specific car, and a car cannot be traded more or less than another car. So we would say, overall, it is clear that second-hand cars were traded more than new vehicles in all towns. Holmfirth and Meltham saw the most sales. Why doesn't it like this? Oh, we don't need that. Followed by Upperthong, whereas the company... Oh yeah, no, we are talking about a company. Whereas the company saw the least number. Remember, it's a countable noun. 3 cars, 4 cars. So it's a number of cars. Looking more closely, the village that saw the highest car sales was Netherton at 544 and 650 for new and used cars respectively. Meltham saw the second greatest sales at 455 new cars and 611 used cars, followed by Upperthong at 422 and 501 sales for new and used vehicles respectively. On the other hand, in Netherton, the group traded the least number of vehicles at about 200 in total. Cool. Another outstanding trend was that there was only 3... There was a difference of only 3 sales between new and between new and used cars in Longley Farm. Compared to a minimum of around 50 and a maximum of 150 sales. Actually, a minimum gap of around 50 and maximum of 150 sales in other provinces. That would be better. So actually, very few corrections necessary here. That was a very good response. Let's have a look at your task 2. So my first couple of points here. This things deteriorate. So the city is deteriorating as a result of pollution, but contamination cannot deteriorate. Contamination can cause deterioration. Also, we don't use the word big. It's too informal. So we could say larger cities, but today's environmental contamination is becoming increasingly detrimental, especially in larger cities. There are 2 main causes of pollution in large cities. The pollution, because we can't really use the definite article with pollution at all, because there are, unless you were talking about like a specific item of waste left on the curb, you could say the pollution over there, that pollution that I'm pointing at right now, but it wouldn't sound very natural. So there are 2 main causes of pollution in large cities: high population and the thousands of vehicles. Be careful with being really specific about the number. We don't know how many vehicles there are. It could be millions, it could be hundreds. We could say the high density of vehicles. This essay will examine these 2 reasons more closely and suggest solutions for each issue. What I would do in this essay is discuss causes here and solutions here. So you can introduce the idea of a cause of pollution, talk about the specifics, give an example of a city where you can see this, and explain it more fully. And then you can talk about introducing a policy measure maybe, or whether it be governments or people that need to do this. And then you can explain how that would work. And then you can provide an example of somewhere where it already has worked, and then explain. So keep your ideas confined to your paragraphs. So firstly, the more people, the more garbage is generated from everyday life. Each individual and household produces general waste. Wastewater, I believe, can be used as one word. Yeah. Such as wastewater and food garbage. It is hard to spread out the population density to outside the city. And therefore, it is crucial to enlighten these people as to how important nature is and how to keep it clean. Because I use this here. Again, we're not proposing a specific thing. We're just talking about education generally. The act of education, the function of education. So we can just use the noun on its own. Education can be performed in schools and companies in a form. So this is this is what I mean about keeping your ideas confined to paragraphs, because this is now an underdeveloped response. The solution really needed to be more elaborated than that, with a full explanation and maybe even examples of somewhere where it has worked in the past. So maybe a city in which a recycling education drive took place, and afterwards recycling went up or pollution went down. We need to be talking about, when we give examples in paragraphs, they need to support our thinking. So if we say that the government should educate people on the virtue of recycling, why it's good, then we need to speak about a place where this has already happened. Real world examples that support us. Here I would just say another reason is that busy cities have numerous vehicles which are extremely harmful to air quality, but you can't really harm air quality. But you can be deleterious. Bad is, again, quite informal. And also we play a role. Cars play a significant role in the generation of air pollution because of the associated exhaust emission fumes. To reduce the air pollution level, the government should improve local public transportation systems. When the government improves the system, people will use public transportation such as trains and buses to avoid traffic jams and to get financial advantages in case it is cheaper than driving their own car. Once again, though, we have no examples to support our thinking. So as I said, causes of pollution with examples, potential solutions with examples. In conclusion, the two most impacting causes, The two most impactful causes of the contamination in large, let's keep it comparative, and also I would do that. The two most impactful causes of contamination in larger cities are high levels of population density and large numbers of cars which cause more waste in daily life, as well as air pollution. As a solution to this, the government should educate the citizens about the importance of nature and should improve the quality of the public transportation system. Cool, but this is an incomplete response because we don't have any examples to support us. In academic writing, whenever we present an idea, we have to demonstrate that where we've got that idea from. In formal academic writing in university, we would use sources, primary sources, secondary sources. So this can be journal articles, studies. But in the IELTS exam, we don't have to be quite so formal. We just have to show that we understand that reasoning requires evidence. And if you want to say this policy would work, then you have to show why you think that with a real world example. So I'm going to send this over to you now. I'm going to leave that there. I'll look forward to your next pieces. Please, in the next piece, each paragraph, one core idea with a supporting example. And no informal words like big or kid or basically anything simple. Although we should be keeping our essays simple overall, if you use words that are too simple, they're just not precise enough to carry the correct amount of meaning. So we need to increase precision and to keep our ideas contained to our paragraphs with supporting evidence. But have a great day, Kael. I'll see you later.